Free Democratic Movement. We will be rolling out 3 candidates today. You can also expect more candidates before the close of nomination day. However, I do want to speak on one issue before we go to our candidates. There were some questions that were asked as it relates to some of our plans. So as I mentioned, I encourage everybody, fdmbda.com is where you can find our policies that have been released thus far, namely an energy policy, an environmental policy, a housing policy, an economic policy, and an education policy. Those policies, we believe, are some of the most important issues on the island. Within our first 100 days, some of the things that we would seek to do would be to allow all persons who are in good standing with their rent with the newly formed Bermuda Land Management Development Corporation, rent to earn opportunities. I mentioned yesterday, as it relates to the unused government properties, we would seek to allow those properties to be used for residential and other purposes. One key way that this will be done island-wide is to allow more mixed use for buildings. So currently we have residential zoning, we have commercial zoning, and the like. We would want to create mixed use zoning. So you would have, i.e., a Gilbert Institute, which is slated to close, to be allowed to be used for residential purposes. This would allow more freedom and more flexibility with our housing issue in Bermuda. As we said previously, we consider that to be one of the most pressing issues on the island. So I'll continue with our rollouts, and I announce you have Mr. Kyle Bridgewater, who is going to be running in constituency 2 to my left. To my right, we have Mr. Quentin Sherlock, who is going to be running in constituency 2. And directly behind me, we have the Honorable Mark Bean, who is going to be running in constituency 32. I'll give them a couple of minutes to introduce themselves, and thank you.
Good morning, good day, Bermuda and the media. My name is Quentin Sherlock Jr. I'm going to be the FDM candidate for constituency 2. My family is from St. George's. My uncle is the legendary cup match star Clarence Tuppence Parfit. My great-grandfather was Mr. Bernard Hudson. In fact, my family are direct descendants of pilot Jimmy Darrell. My family to this day continue to reside in pilot Jimmy Darrell's house. So with that being said, why else constituency 2? Because I think that in St. George's, we have a whole lot of untapped opportunity that can help to rejuvenate our island and instill a sense of hope for our upcoming generations. In St. George's, we boast of a 4-star hotel, we boast of lovely beaches, and we also boast of a beautiful scenic golf course, all of which, and we also boast, of a very rich and unique and interesting history, which, if packaged together and packaged well, could really help to kind of get the word out there about what St. George's has to offer and help to kind of boost and revitalize the area. So I honestly believe and feel that the St. George's area is an untapped gem that, with some concerted effort, some good, well thought out plans, we can see that area come back to life. Beyond that, my personal interests and concerns at the present moment lay around education and our work on the education system. If you go to our website, it lays out the FDM plan for the education system, talking about things like decentralizing the high schools from the Department of Education, giving greater ownership to the lead teachers and the school principals. We're also talking about doing away with these 2 senior high schools to help to bring back some competition amongst our young people. We truly believe that competition is very healthy for the development of character and to set our young people, prepare them, I should say, for the world. I'm also very deeply committed to, just in general, our youth and community development. For those that know me would know that for the past few years, I have been spending time between Bermuda and Ghana, West Africa, where I have been able to institute and develop an NGO, a charity that helps to support children from a disadvantaged community in Ghana. And to this date, albeit I'm standing in front of you in Bermuda, that program is still running strong. So in a similar light, the idea is to bring my energies and my efforts back home to Bermuda and see if we can build a similar sustainable program, not only in St. George's, but also allow it to be a model for the island so that we can help to inspire and return hope to our young people. So, people of Bermuda, specifically the people of Constituency 2, I do look forward to getting to meet you when I knock on the doors, and I look forward to you entrusting me with your vote so that we can help to transform Constituency 2, which would ultimately lead to a better Bermuda for us all. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all.
Good morning. Good morning, Bermuda. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, members of the press, fellow citizens. My name is Kyle Bridgewater. I am excited to be here today to introduce myself to you as a candidate for Constituency 14, Devonshire Northwest. It is this constituency that I hope to come to and speak to the many constituents that are there that have been looking for help, that have been looking for more from our Bermuda that they know exists. If you know me, you'll know that I have been a businessman. I've been promoting healthy living. I've been promoting our cultural institutions for a very long time. I really enjoy this country. I really enjoy helping. And I'm here to come to find out what it is that you want. And I will bring it. And I will then return to you with policies that are shaped along the way and in the style that you've asked. We want to help you. We want your voice to be heard. We are here for you. If you give me that honor, I will work very hard for you. You will see me today, you will see me tomorrow, and you will see me next week. You will continue to see me in your area working hard for you. I look forward to bringing more enterprise and more things happening in this area. Thank you, Bermuda. I look forward to helping you. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to bringing us further. Thank you again.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the people of Bermuda. I'm going to be very brief, very short. I'd like to make it clear that I am returning home to constituency number 32. If you could remember or recall, I started politics at the electoral level when I won the primary for the Progressive Labor Party, and I defeated the Honorable Randy Horton by 90% to 10% in 2007. Subsequently, I did not run in 32. I was asked by Dr. Brown to step aside in 32 for Minister Horton at the time, and I ran in constituency 31. I've also served in constituency 26, and I also ran in constituency 36. But now is the time for me to return to my roots, and that is constituency 32, and I look forward to canvassing and touching base with my neighbors who I have deep respect and love for. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Gary Foster Skelton, Bermuda Broadcasting. We're just looking at this this rollout of candidates from the FDM. Now, following yesterday's press conference, the Progressive Labour Party put out a release essentially saying that the FDM is an entity that doesn't care enough to work for you between elections. And so it's true. You are stepping into this now, a few weeks before an election, stepping into those constituencies. Why should the members of that constituency trust the members of the representatives of the FDM as opposed to candidates that have been there for a longer period?
Thank you for that question. Good question. What I will say is across the spectrum, across all 36 constituencies, you will see various candidates, some who have been present for maybe decades, others who have, like what you are suggesting, just stepped forward, whether that be from the PLP with a candidate in 25 and swapped out, whether that be some of our candidates who are new to the political arena. What you will find with all of our candidates in particular, they are all from that community. As we heard with 32 and Mark, he lives there. As we heard with from Mr. Sherlock, his whole family history is from that area. So we would say that across the political spectrum, there are persons who have just entered and those who have been there for longer periods of time. One more point to note is that we do not control when the election is called. We can only show up and hope that the people can put their faith in us.
That, I understand the point you're making. You can't control when the election's called, but you know it's going to be called
Yes.
Within a 5-year period. Mm-hmm. And the FDM essentially seemed to be fairly absent until last year. Again, it's that issue of why are voters going to take that risk now when you turned up in 2020, then disappeared for a bit, and now you're back again?
So again, when you look at each individual candidate that we have put forth, I would tell you to put that question to them and ask them what they have been doing in their community. And I know you will find in each particular instance, those persons have been very active in their respective areas. We have made a concerted effort to rule out people who are actually in that community. Now, from a political point of view, your question, politics and community work are separate. Okay. Oftentimes, we actually make a concerted effort to separate politics and community work. To do community work for the sake of politics, it's not what community work is about. I do a ton of community work. You've never heard me mention my personal community work, but those in those communities who I have personally affected know very well my name, my face, and what I do.
So can Mr. Bridgewater, Mr. Bean, Mr. Ennis, please tell us now, Mr. Sherlock, tell us now what they've been doing in their community that the community would recognize.
And I believe with their speeches, in particular, Mr. Sherlock, who mentioned about where he is from, the things that he is taking part in. He didn't go into everything as to what you were saying, but those who have worked at or taken classes at Care Computer, for example, would know very well Mr. Sherlock. So what I would seek to impress on you is that those who are doing work in the communities, it's not community work if you're doing it for the picture. Again, as Mr. Bridgewater said, he is very active in bridging community, in community tours, in educational tours. I believe there's an educational bus next week that's instrumental. Mr. Bridgewater and the organizations he's a part of are instrumental in spreading that history. The Cup Match Classic, another great example. Without the organizations, without the individuals being a part of the organizations, we wouldn't have Cup Match. Some of these individuals behind us are direct parts of ensuring that the Cup Match goes off as planned as a part of the friendly societies, something that isn't talked about much, something that doesn't get the mainstream media coverage. So again, if from a political point of view, the public is looking for more FDM, more branded things, yes, I take that. We have not been politically as active as people would like us to be. We are seeking to change that going forward. However, from a community point of view, I would argue our candidates are all very well community-based and in touch with the community.
Okay, and following on from that, I'd just like to hear from each of the candidates specifically about what they've been doing in their community, something from the last 5 years. Only just one comment from each candidate.
So in addition to the things that we've already mentioned.
I just want to hear a little more detail.
Gary.
Yes.
The claim is that we have disappeared. But the people who have been active and upfront, what has that led? What type of state is Bermuda in today? We're in the worst state ever. But the people who are actually causing this decline have been active publicly, politically, but they do not ask those questions as to where they have been. Everyone knows where they've been, and where they've been has led to the state that we're in today. True? If you ask the public, they would say yes.
Perhaps, but we are talking about constituency politics here. And we all know that when constituents in a constituency are voting, it will they are affected by what that candidate has been doing specifically in their community, and specifically that affects them. And that is what I'm asking of the three of you.
Or specifically what they haven't been doing.
Very well.
True. Right. So you have 30 or 36 candidates or 36 members of parliament that have been silent for the last, 7, 8 years? And they get paid by taxpayer funds. They haven't done nothing to uplift the country. This is why we have 96 candidates running right now, because there's this big vacuum that exists in the country. Would you agree? Yes, it's a vacuum.
Mr. Bean, the point is, you are diverting from the question. I'm asking specifically what the three gentlemen that we have seen rolled out for the FDM today have been doing inside their community. Why voters in that community will turn around and say, that's what Mark Bean has been doing. That's what Quinton Sherlock has been doing. That's what Kyle Bridgewater has been doing.
First off, self-praise is no recommendation. Okay, and that's one of the folds that many politicians slip into. Okay, my reputation precedes me. I've been into politics since 2007. Every single thing that we have gone through in this country since 2012, I personally have warned the people of this country about, and they rejected it. Okay, now my work in my community has proceeded from 2002. Either it's in my community club, Somerset Bridge Recreation Club, or other activities. Okay, my family and myself have fed my community for the last 50 years. I don't think I have to say much else. You know, I don't have to explain what I'm done or what I haven't done. I have the scars, the political scars on my back and on my chest, more so than anybody else in the political realm in this country. You don't see me carrying a flag and say, oh, look at me, look at me. I just go about doing what I have to do. And don't forget, Mark Bean is the only leader that has created a political entity from scratch in the last 15 years. There's got to be some value to that.
Okay. And if I may ask a final question before I pass on to my media colleague, another response from the Progressive Labour Party to, and this was Mr. Dill's rollout yesterday as a candidate, they said that the FDM has a burning desire to unite with the OBA. How do you respond to that?
I would say that, is that due to optics? Is that something tangible? Are those accusations, do they have any merit?
Well, let's go back to the Sands North by-election, where FDM leader Mark Bean did comment about the opposition parties and people, independents, FDM or OBA, needing to have some collaboration. So again, are these things that you are willing to put on the table, or have there even been some discussions?
Our comment, our statement still stands as it relates to being willing and needing to work with everybody along the political spectrum. Many other candidates have now asked this question. Many other candidates have now addressed these issues. I believe the Bean brothers addressed it a couple of days ago, other independents as well. We can't get anything done in a vacuum. And I think when we see the Silent 29 basically having complete autonomy over how things are going, that's why we have 96 candidates, because all of those others, combined opposition, so to speak, yes, they want to work together. They all have one common goal. And as a collective, I know they feel Bermuda needs better. So again, I would say to the Silent 29 and to the reply to the press statement yesterday, our concern as a collective opposition is to make Bermuda better. Whoever wants to be on that side of making Bermuda better, you're welcome. Whether that be individuals within the PLP, whether that be past PLP MPs who stepped up and stood beside me, a legend amongst us, a national hero. Yeah. So I would say that this narrative that we want to work with the boogeyman, so to speak, it's a lot of fur tactics.
And I just did want to touch on something you said, that you will have more candidates again rolling out for nomination day tomorrow.
By the time nomination day closes, yes, we will have more candidates.
More?
Yes.
Any numbers on that?
I said a batch yesterday.
You said a batch?
I said a batch.
Another batch?
A few.
A few.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen. Segu Hendrickson of the Royal Gazette. This is really aimed at you, Mr. Dill. Kind of piggybacking off what my colleague said, you are a relatively new political campaign. You have not made a lot of, let's say, a lot of noise, really. Even though you say that you've been doing things within your own communities, the wider public as a whole has not really heard too much about you until recently. Meanwhile, there has been a growing movement of independent candidates who've all been trying to put forward and been growing since Sir John made the call last year. What I really want to know is, is the FDM concerned about their chances of getting into Parliament, given this sweeping movement of independent voters that now probably mirror around the same size as the FDM, if not a little bit close?
So you asked a collection of questions. I'll do my best. If I miss anything, please prompt me.
Sure.
The first thing I would say is we don't consider the independents to be a threat to where we see our focus to be. We are speaking mainly to Bermuda as a whole, but more specifically to those who would have grown up like us from our communities. The independent movement seems to be targeting a different subsection of Bermuda. So we don't necessarily see any issue with them and them maybe getting in the way of what we seek to accomplish. You asked another question about my personal profile, I believe.
No, it was just that question.
Preamble. Okay.
Yes, but given that, you say that they are targeting a different subsection of the community than you are. Can you please expand on that?
Well, I would say most independents are not running in seats that we're running in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simple as that.
And given this, that they are reaching out to a different area of the community, is that going to affect how you do actually campaign, at least in the future?
So if you see, most of our rollouts have been in the last week or so. We have been very strategic with who we roll out and where. We do have a collection of names, and we are trying to play euchre with the best place to put people. And I say euchre specifically for a reason. And, this is not something that is taken lightly. When we put forth a name, we put forth a name with confidence, and we have a plan, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And this is really aimed at Mr. Bean. You did say earlier that, from what we know, you ran in Sands North in 2020, and now you're moving to constituency 32. You did say that you were coming home, but I was wondering if you could just kind of expand on why the difference between running in. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Why are you choosing to run in constituency 32 now as opposed to Sands North? And if you say that you are coming home, why did you decide to run in Sands North in 2020?
So may I just speak as the chairperson? So as I mentioned, our rollouts are very strategic. We have a great candidate in 36. She is amazing. She is young. She is in school. She is a business owner. She also works full time. She's from that community. Her whole family is from that community. So when we are rolling out candidates, this is not a party of egos and profile, right? We have a policy mandate. We have policies that stretch across various different things, different issues within our country. And from a party, what's best for the party, that decision was made to, you know what, Mark, you do live in 32. You have ran in 32 before. Your roots are in 32. Where our candidate that has chosen to run out in 36, that is also a great area for her. So we want to allow persons such as Mark to, in some cases, move aside. We love 36. We love all the people in 36, and we hope that they continue to support us because we got a lot of support while canvassing up there. But from a strategy point of view, Mark is going home. He will be in 32. That is not necessarily Mark's sole decision. And Shalea Codrington will be in 36, and she is amazing. I can't wait for people to continue to get to know who she is.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Yeah, good? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.